And it's a very important outreach as far as I'm concerned. I can name many preachers, many great leaders that would never have been in church had somebody not cared enough to come get them with a bus. And, a lot of parents won't get up and bring them. And then when we bring them back here, we got people that feed them. And we love them and we cherish them. And when they think of the Lord and they think of the church, they say, there's a place that would feed me. There's a place that will love me. And there's a place that cares. And to me, it's one of our greatest outreaches. So pray for these men. We're going to be talking more about this from week to week. Everything that comes in through the pig is used for these buses. There's a lot of expense. I believe she told me this morning that $2,000 or $3,000 just gas last year. And then you got mechanics that work on them like John and Jason and some of these boys. And it takes a lot to keep them going. So be praying. We've got people that say if they win the lottery, they're going to buy us new buses. And we've heard that from 2 different families in the past that won quite a bit of money and they quit church. So we don't want you to feel like if you do come into some money, you have to quit church. We'll love you if you got money just the same as if you don't, all right? Talking about money, starting next week, we're not going to take up an offering. How you like that? You've griped and complained, and so starting next week, we're just going to have men at each door, and if you want to give, you give. And if you want to go to hell with it in your pocket, you just go on out. Is that simple enough? No, seriously, I have people, that come the first time, and I hate for us to expect a visitor to help pay our bills. And we don't want people to think all we want is their money. So this way, we're not going to shake a plate in front of you. We're going to give you a chance if you want to give. And I think they've got it set up now. We'll be telling you more about that, to where you can give on internet and all kinds of different ways. So we'll make a way for you to give your money. Okay? Tonight, Charles Todd's going to be preaching. And it's going to be exciting, and his daughter's probably going to be singing, and maybe we can get Jimmy to sing. But I'm excited to... there'll be a demonstration. You can bet on that. And here's a young man that loves the Lord, and he gets up here and helps me preach from time to time, and we're going to see what he can do when we turn it over to him for a while. So if you miss tonight, you may miss a great blessing, okay? All right, 38th chapter of Job. 38th chapter of Job. Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Where were you? Tell me if you have understanding. Who determined what size the earth was supposed to be? Who determined that? Surely you know. Or who stretched the line for its boundaries? To whom, to what was its foundations fastened? What holds this world into place? What's it fastened to? Or who laid its cornerstone? Who said, we're going to start this world right here? Who laid the cornerstone? The beginning. When the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy. Or who shut in the sea with doors? Who is it that says to the sea, now this is as far as you go? See? When it burst forth and issued from the womb, when I made the clouds its darkness, and thick darkness its swaddling band, when I fixed my limit for it, and set bars and doors. Where were you when God did all this with the sea? And when I said, this is as far as you may come, but no farther. And here your proud waves must stop. Have you commanded the morning since your day's begun, and caused the dawn to know its place? Where did the dawn come from? And the wicked be shaken out of it. It takes on form like clay under its seal, and stands out like a garment. From the wicked their light is withheld, and the upraised arm is broken. Have you entered the springs of the earth of the sea? Where does the sea get its water? Tell me, if you know. Or have you walked in search of the depths? Have the gates of death been revealed to you? Or have you seen the doors of the shadows of death? Have you comprehended the width of the world? The breadth? Tell me if you know all this. And where is the way to the dwelling of light and darkness? Where's its place? Where does the darkness go? Where does the light dwell? Can any of you answer these questions? That you may take it to its territory, that you may know the paths to its home. They've got a home. Darkness has a home. Light has a home. Did you know that? Do you know it because you were born then? Or because the number of your days is great? You know, the Bible even says that your days are numbered. How many days you got? Do you know? Have you entered the treasury of snow, or have you seen the treasury of hail? Where do they come from? Tell me if you know. Which I have reserved for the time of trouble, for the day of battle and war. And what way is light diffused? Are the east winds scattered over the earth? Who has divided a channel for the overflowing water? Where does the sea go when it overflows? God's made a place. Do you know where it is? Or a path for the thunderbolt? Did you think a thunderbolt just happened? How does it know where to go and how to go? What is it that causes it to rain on a land where there is no one, a wilderness in which there is no man? To satisfy the desolate waste and cause to spring forth the growth of tender grass. Has the rain a father? Who's the daddy of rain? Tell me if you know. Or was it begotten, or who has begotten the drops of dew? Where does dew come from? And from whose womb comes the ice and the frost of heaven? Who gives it birth? The waters harden like stone, and the surface of the deep is frozen. You know how you spell water in 3 words, 3 letters? I-C-E. Can you answer any of these questions? Who can? Hold up your hand. Well, then we're not as smart as God, are we? And that's the thing we need to realize this morning. We're not as smart as God, and we're not as powerful as God. And the greatness of God is beyond our concept. I was brushing my teeth this morning, and I thought, you know, God takes bone and makes teeth. How does he know where to put the teeth? And, you know, the teeth in animals, some of them turn backwards and some of them go forward, and some are made to grab and mine are made to eat. Who designed all this? Who created all of this? Where did everything that exists come from? It's time we stopped and realized how insignificant we are. Who took this woman over when doctors didn't know what to do and brought her to where she's able to come back to church? Who is it that heals when we're sick? Who is it that loves when no one else loves? Who is it that provides our every need? But we think so many times that we're wiser than God. When you try to be wiser than God, what you do is make yourself a little God. Now listen to me. When God tells you to do something or leads you to do something, and you do what you want to do, you have taken the place of God. Did you realize that? And unless you're able to answer all these questions, unless you have the power to do the omnipotent, all-powerful things that God does, how are you going to handle the job you're taking on? When you become God, you better be able to handle it, ain't you? What are you going to do when troubles come? What are you going to do when sickness comes? What are you going to do when heartache comes? How are you going to take away the pain? Before you decide to take on the role of God, you better find out whether or not you can handle the job. Are you with me? You better find out whether or not you can handle the job. Because I promise you that an unskilled, unlearned, unknowledgeable person is going to mess up more than they fix up. Amen? Amen. Don't try to do something that you're not capable of doing. Would you say that's a good advice? Well, then could I be safe in saying, don't try to become God? Because you're not capable. You can't make a tear flow from your eye, and you can't make a tear stop. Who designed hearing? And where does it come from? And who decides Dick Powell gets to keep ahead of her? And I don't. You know, don't you look around you and say, who's in control of all of this? Who is big? And then before you start taking over and doing his job, you better stop and think, hadn't you? See, that's what happened all through the Bible. That's what happened all through the Bible. They would become slaves. They would become so down and out. They would become so destroyed that they had become nothing. And they would cry unto God, and they'd say, oh God, help us, deliver us, set us free, make our lives worth living again, give us something worth beautiful. And God, through His mercy, and God, through His love, would say, all right, I'm going to give you hope again. I'm going to give you peace again. I'm going to set you free from slavery. I'm going to bless you financially. I'm going to bless you with health and strength. I'm going to give you a beautiful life, a beautiful marriage, beautiful children. I'm going to make of you a great nation. God would do that. And you know what would happen when God would take them from astute poverty and make of them a great nation? Do you know what they would do? They'd become little gods. They'd become little gods. They'd make them a little god out of gold, or little god out of silver. Or they'd build them an altar to the unknown God. They'd make them gods. They didn't need God anymore. They had health. They weren't slaves anymore. They didn't need God anymore. They had families. They didn't need God anymore. They had money. They didn't need God anymore. They became as wise in their minds as God. And so they took over. And a phrase that's repeated over and over in the Bible is, and once again. Go back and read the Old Testament. And once again. What does that mean? Huh? Once again. They were overtaken by their powerlessness. And they lost their health, and they lost their wealth, and they lost their families, and they lost their children. And then the heathen would come and capture them, and they would lose their freedom. Why? Because they thought they could answer these questions, and they had no idea what the answers were. I don't know when friends are true, but God does. I can't see inside of you, but God can. I can't turn darkness into light. I can't make mountains snowy bright. I can't give blinded men their sight. But God can. And sometimes I wonder in His plan why He included me. You know, what did He need me for? And this is what Job came to the realization. What is man that you're mindful of? Well, Lord, why do you even fool with us? We don't do the same stupid things again if we're not careful. And then his wife come along and said, what you need to do is make sure your life insurance is paid up and kill yourself. And we're living in a world today that one soldier a day takes his life. We're living in a world today that nearly every day on the news, somebody takes several people's lives and then takes their own life. Why? Why? Because they've become gods. And they no longer need to do what God leads and guides and directs them to do. They do what they want to do. Are you with me? One more scripture quickly, and you should read this every day. You should read Deuteronomy 28 at least once a week. Unless you're a little God. And if you're a little God, they can't nobody tell you nothing anyway, can they? How many of you have seen somebody like that? You can't tell. Don't you? There's no use trying to tell them anything. Huh? No use telling them. They know it, don't they? Huh? You see, a person that knows everything, it's hard to tell them anything. But I learned years ago that a wise person was someone who knew how much they don't know. Huh? The more I study, the more I realize how much I don't know. How much I do deserve. But you see these people that know it all. And so they quit reading their Bible because they know John 3:16. They quit going to church because they can worship God on the riverbank, same as they can in the church building. They quit assembling around the Lord's table because they don't understand that anyway. And they become self-destroying little gods. My heart breaks every day when I see and talk to so many people that know so much that they don't need God. And yet their life is just in the garbage can. Their life is, I don't know how they can stand. I know why they kill themselves. Without Him there is no hope. Without Him there is no peace. Without Him there is no love. But you can't tell them. Because they have become little gods. So, if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, quit telling God what you're going to do and let Him take control. You see, He knows where to go. He knows how to go. He knows where the beautiful life is.